Hey everyone, welcome back to the B Movie Bunker. Today we're stepping back to the 1980s. Sort of. We're actually looking at 2015's Turbo Kid, which is a throwback, an homage, if you will, to the 1980s post-apocalyptic films. What we have is the story of the kid. The kid is kind of obsessed with comic books, surviving in this 1997 post-apocalyptic world. I know. 97? What? 2015? Yeah, but if you grew up watching the movies like I did, you'd realize that all of us were supposed to be dead by now, or living in a waterless, mutant-infested wasteland with Malcolm McDowell controlling all the water. That's what was supposed to happen. Obviously, it didn't, at least not yet. So, the kid, he meets Apple. Apple is soon to be his best friend. And then they run across a foul of Zeus. Zeus is the bad guy, and of course if you're going to have an 80s throwback film, you need a classic villain. Who better? Michael Ironside. So I like this film a lot. There's been a rash of these films, of these throwbacks films, and some of them do it all right. Some of them are kind of some of them are obviously poking fun at it. Some of them are more of a, as I said, an homage to it. I think this falls more under the homage area of what they're trying to do, and I think they do a really good job of it. It's got a good feel to it, a good 80s feel, and the acting, I like it. I love Michael Ironside. I've always liked Michael Ironside, and he plays a good villain, and in this one he plays a very good villain, as does his sidekick, Skeletron, played by Edwin Wright, if I believe. The two of them together they're a great duo for, the main bad guys, plus the numerous henchmen that are only there to be killed by the heroes. Speaking of the heroes, Monroe Chambers plays the kid. He's fine. I got nothing against him. I think he does a decent job, especially when he finds his power glove and he becomes kind of, a superhero of the future. But the standout star of this entire movie is Apple, played by Laurence LaBeouf. She is so much fun, and she's funny, and just her delivery of everything is perfect. I think she really, really kind of she steals every scene she's in. And I use that phrase too often. I need something better, but she really does stand out in this film. I think she is what really takes it from what I consider a good movie to an actually really fun movie. And also on that note of fun and a good movie, I like that they use a lot of practical effects, and the practical effects are actually pretty good. I agree with my fellow YouTube reviewer, Mark the Movie Man, that because the practical effects are so good, the limited times when they use CG, it stands out a bit too much. And I've never been a huge fan of CG mixed with practical effects unless it's done well. And if there's one thing I think this movie kind of stumbled on, it's a bit of that. Now, I'm not saying all the CG, because obviously you've got, the Turbo Kid, he uses his turbo power, glove thing, and that's, like a giant laser, and you have to, you can't do practical effects of, a mammoth laser thing shooting out of your hand. You don't have that technology, really. But that's fine. But like I said, that's my only complaint is some of the CG, and that's really not that big of a deal. I think this one kind of follows along with the classics of the 80s, the kind of post-apocalyptic flicks. And for me, this is it's a look back to my Saturday afternoons, because this is the type of stuff I watched growing up. And actually, this is better than most of what I watched. So if you're comparing it to the stuff that I grew up watching, like, Rollerblade Warriors and stuff like that, there's few films that really stand up as a really well-done post-apocalyptic movies. Obviously, Mad Max. And speaking of that, my 1 to 10, let's go all kind of 80s with this. This is kind of like a Mad Max meets Legend of Zelda. It's this kind of, epic quest. Obviously, he's not going to... It's not a video game, but still, it has that kind of feeling to it, and those are both 80s things, so it works. Work with me, people. If you don't understand it, you're too young. Because it can't be that I'm just not explaining it, because I'm amazing. But that's how I feel. This is, it's got that whole good, gritty, post-apocalyptic feel with a standout villain and the kind of epic quest thing, becoming a hero and all that type of stuff that you get from, like, a Legend of Zelda. And yes, I know Zelda was not... Don't even go into that. So, that's what I've got for this one. I think you should definitely check it out right now. I mean, Amazon Prime, it's free to watch. Why would you not? Why would you not watch this if it's free? Heck, if it costs $5, you should still watch it. Check it out. This is actually, it was a lot of fun. If you like the post-apocalyptic movies, especially the ones from the 80s, I think this is a very, very admirable job in doing, in many ways, doing better what they did back then. So, check it out. That's all I've got. Stay safe out there in the wasteland, folks.